Hello, namaste, and good afternoon. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this highly anticipated webinar on internal audit report writing, organized by the Internal Audit Standards Boards of ICAI. I am CA Pratik Birazar, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Just let me give a brief and uh, tell you the little bit about what today's topic will be on. So, internal audit reports are not just formalities, they are strategic tools that help organizations strengthen governance, improve controls, and drive accountability. Today's session is designed to help us sharpen our skills in crafting reports that are clear, concise, and impactful. So, before proceeding with the insightful and joyful ride of learning, I once again welcome you all, and we are honored to have with us the stalwarts of the profession, CA S. Swaminathan sir, today's speaker and known expert in internal audit, CA Chandrasekhar Chitre sir in absentia, chairman of the Internal Audit Standard Board and visionary leader in audits and ethics. Also, CA Ravi Kumar Patwa sir in absentia, vice chairman of the Internal Audit Standard Board and a dynamic force in professional development and governance. Dear member and all the participants, a warm welcome. The insights and experiences of today's speaker, CAS Swaminathan sir, will guide us through the nuance of effective audit reporting, and I encourage everyone to engage actively, ask questions, and make the most of this opportunity. Thank you for joining us today. Let's begin this journey of learning and excellence together. Now, let me introduce and give brief about today's session and CAS Swaminathan sir. Internal audit report writing involves translating audit observation into formal document that communicates risk, control gaps, and improvement opportunities to management, the board, or other stakeholders. It's not just about listing findings, it's about delivering insights that lead to action. Internal audit reports are more than just documentation. They are powerful tool for communicating insights, driving accountability, and influencing decisions making, whether you are seasoned auditor or just a starting out. Today's session will equip you with practical strategies to craft clear, impactful, and actionable audit report. We are joined by expert speaker CAS Swaminathan sir, a profound member of ICI, and I would like to give you a brief introduction about Swaminathan sir. Though he needs no introduction, but still, still new joinees, I would like to give a brief introduction about our today's speaker, S. Swaminathan sir. He is a Bachelor of Science and a proud member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is a he has experience of more than 33 years in internal audit, business process reengineering, customer life cycle, customer experience management, working with various industries like telecom, manufacturing, and hospitality. He had started his career with Big Four audit firms and now successfully running his own audit firm for many decades. He has a profound experience and he has also associated with Indian Hotels Company Limited IHCL, a Tata Group company in a group internal audit in a corporate office managing the internal audit for close to 100 plus hotels spread across India and overseas. He has got a experience with leading telecom operators like Reliance Communication and Bharti Airtel Limited. He, uh, apart from this, he have a profound experience in scoping of internal audit and drawing up internal audit plans. Today we are going to see about the writing of internal audit report, carrying out internal audit in accordance with the risk-based positive assurance model, conducting audits and others to statutory compliance, visiting to regions to carry out surprise audits and review of depot regions activities, finalization of and closure of internal audits with stakeholder, preparation of audit presentation and agenda papers for audit committee, special assignments in the nature of investigation, study or process improvement, quality review of audit forms and ensure uniform audit methodology. Mr. Swaminathan sir has also uh, contributed in process design and transformation and has also handled collections and credit control operations. Sir, we welcome you all for this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Up to you, sir.
Can I start now?
Yes, sir, yes, sure.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I'll start with the report writing. First, I will show you some of the slides, and then to make it better understanding, I will show you some of the examples on how to prepare the various reports and how to present it to the audit committee meetings. So before I start my presentation, I would say the entire 28 slides which I am going to present has been written based on my own experience and learnings in the last close to 25 years. So what is, first of all, before we go to the report writing, I would first define very clearly what is the modern definition of the internal audit. See, previously what we used to do is, even I have done myself when I was doing in Deloitte some 30 years back, we go to the client place and we do take some books of account and see some verification of entries, here 1,000 rupees, there 1,000 rupees, and ticket. So that is how we used to do. But now, at least in the last 20 plus years, the method of internal auditing and the definition of internal auditing has completely changed. Before any client gives any work, it has happened to me recently also. Before anything, any client gives any assignment to us, they are expecting what is the value addition which we give as an internal auditor. When I say value addition, it should be either in the form of increase in revenue or streamlining the process or streamlining the policies or reduction in the cost. These are all the main four aspects of giving improvement to the existing organization. So this is how at least 90% of the companies they look at it. That is why I have redefined the internal auditing definition, saying that it is an independent, objective, and assurance consulting activity designed to add value. Please underline the word add value and improve on organization's operations. These are, one, we should add value to the company, and by giving value to the company, what is the improvement the organization can expect because of the internal audit which we are doing. This is the first objective of the internal audit in the modern days. The second one is, whatever we do, it should help the organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk control governance process. These are all the major things: risk, control, governance. Now, at least in the last 5 to 10 years, I have completely changed the method of doing the internal audit. Now, wherever I do the internal audit, I do based on the risk and the control. First, I go the risk-based approach audit. I am doing only for corporates, major corporates internal audit, and the expectations I am telling you are well on the higher side. And what is the internal audit report? See, internal audit report, basically it consists of four things. One, it is the result of what we do in the last 1 month or 1.5 months. And it is the final deliverable note which flags significant observations and actions required. And third, this is the only evidence that we have done the audit, and that is a reference point for the starting point. This is very important reference point for the starting point, which I will explain in the subsequent slides. What is the objective of the internal audit? The objective of the internal audit is that we should share with the client, that is the auditee, the details of all the significant findings based on the procedures which we have undertaken. How do we write the procedures? That I will explain to you. Allow the management to understand the issues and take corrective actions in a methodical and comprehensive manner. And it should be very simple also and understandable also to the client. The third one will be it should provide a sound basis for any assurance being provided by the internal auditor. These three are basically very, very important aspects and of the first objective of the internal audit report, which is what I would say it is considerably lagging in the current scenario where at least I have seen it. The overall objective of reporting result is to highlight the effectiveness of internal control and the risk management process to enhance the governance in the internal audit. When I give any report, the client should say, yes, he is benefited either in the form of streamlining the operations of the policies and procedures, or they are able to increase the revenue by changing the methodology of their operations, or they are able to reduce the cost. So this is the object. I'm very happy to share that recently in one of the clients' place, which I am doing, it is also in the hotel industry. I have considerably saved the cost of more than 2 crores to the company over vendor management, which I will explain to you after going through this slide what I have done actually. Dissemination, the IA report continuation. Dissemination, what is a IA report? IA report basically is the dissemination of the results of the internal audit and reporting the findings to the management. What we have done in the field, in the form of a field work, it should be precisely put it in the paper and then give it in the very presentable form and understandable form to the management. The reporting results needs to be done with a certain level of uniformity and should have clarity and agreement with regard to the nature of assurance. Many reports nowadays I'm seeing there where there is no clarity. For example, if people are writing the report, what is the sample, what is the population, or what is the error rate, nothing is there. See, half information is there. So it is not the way of, it is not a correctly communicating to the people. When we give each and every observation should have all the vital information so that the client can understand our report without our involvement. Then only we can say that we have done our job to a reasonable extent. Reporting of internal audit results in generally under in two stages. One at the end of the particular audit period, or covering a specific area or function or part of the entity is prepared by lighting, or the second one is that or a periodic basis at a close of the plan. See, some people what they do is they will do the internal audit of all the areas once in a year. Some people they prefer to do all the areas or some area on a quarterly basis or on a first half year and third quarter and the fourth quarter. So either way, it makes no problem. It all there is no hard and fast rules. It all depends upon what and how the client wants. And third one, the internal audit report shall be issued within a reasonable time from the completion of the audit. Generally, in my view, all the reports must be completed within a week. In fact, I would say that the moment we complete the audit in a client place where our physical audit is involved, my suggestion will be take 2 3 days after you complete the field work, write the report there itself, and take the management comments from them and close the audit, get the sign off, and then leave the place. The reason being is, and I'm saying is that once you come out of the premises, then it will get unnecessarily delay. You will be tied up with other assignments. You will not be able to focus attention on the client which you have already done. Thereby, the reports will get delayed by at least 15 days, 1 month, or 2 months. Second problem is that when you open the file after 1 month, you may not actually remember what you have done 1 month before. So you have to spend time on revisiting your work papers, everything. All these things can be avoided by saying that, yes, I have prepared the work, I have completed my field work on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, I am writing the report. Saturday, Sunday, internal discussion. Monday, discussion with the client, side off and leave. Once you leave the client place, the report can be closed, the file can be closed. You don't have to worry about it because it is complete in all aspects. I would prefer in that way. At least I am trying to do a 90% of my audits in that manner. Communication with the management. It's a very important slide. What does it say? Internal audit is required to have effective two-way communication with the management while managing the internal audit function and while conducting internal audit assignment. All communication must be very simple, clear, and it should be in line with what is the agreed process and the timelines and the scope. The third point is the process of documentation shall outline the various modes. Either it can be verbal, or it can be written, or it can be picture. Example through phone or hard copy. Now people are using WhatsApp also, and periodicity of the timeline for communication, and also cover certain essential information required communicated. Here I would add to one thing: wherever critical observations are involved, my suggestion will be that instead of exchanging information on a WhatsApp or a phone call, put it in the formal report form, writing in a Word document or PowerPoint, whichever way you prefer, and then discuss it with the client and keep it. Because all critical information, we should, as an auditor, must have a backup in a proper format so that tomorrow there is no dispute. Report writing. Purpose one, what is the objective? The first and the foremost objective is that the it is not only for any report of any writing, whether the formal audit report or a brief memo, whatever it must be very simple and understand by everybody. Both, when I say everybody, both as a client and as an auditor. As an auditor, you will also not have faced difficulties in remembering what has happened after 2 months. So put everything observations in a very simple manner, understandable to the client and understandable to you, so that the client can read the report and understand and implement without having come back to you after some time. In order to do the how we can do this, in order to do this effectively, the writer must consider the audience who will receive and respond to the report. They should be able to understand the report without any effort, and they should never say, what do you mean by this? Nobody should come back to you, what is this, what is this? Because everything should be on a paper. Like I said earlier, so in most of the cases, the sample, the population, the month of selection, sample, selecting the sample for audit, something or other is missing. So if we put all the details which are required in the observation while writing it, then nobody will come back to you because everything can be understandable. Report writing comes in three forms. One, you draft the observations, then ask your seniors to edit it. Then, after you edit it, make yourself comfortable and thorough, and then finally you submit the report. That is why I said draft, edit, and submission. Now, how can we draft the audit report? See, audit, when we draft the audit report, we should be having clearly the following five C's. If criteria, condition, cause, consequence, and corrective action. Each observation, before we write it, we put it in the paper, we will divide these into 5 C's. If all the 5 C's are comfortable or all the 5 C's are thing, then only we can write the observation. What is the criteria? What should be the case? Criteria means what should be the case. And what is the condition? Condition means what is the current scenario and what is the reason for the current case. And consequence means what is the impact. And last one is recommendation. See, why I am saying 5 C's is many reports I have seen that it is coming without suggestion, without impact, or without management comments. Ideally, a report should contain all the 5 columns. Your first column should be observation, second column should be your impact, and third column should be your suggestion, and the fourth column will be management response to that observation, and the fifth column it should be what is the date of agreed implementation. If it is there, then the audit is complete. Let us give an example to this also. How, what is the thing? Let us take one example. Suppose expenses totaling say 10 lakh of rupees were not provided for in the books of account. This is an observation. So now let us take this into convert this into 5 C's and see how whether the 5 C's are hold good for this observation. What is the first C? What is the criteria? Adequate control must be built into the process to ensure completeness, accuracy, timelines of the month and closing process. That is the criteria. And what is the condition? Certain expense. In our example, 10 lakhs of rupees provision has not been provided for. And what is the cause? Adjust adequate review procedures, that is maker and checker complex, was absent. This is our cause. And what is the effect? Because of this, my profit is overstated. Overstatement of profit to the extent, and because I have not provided for expense, my statement, this is the impact. Effect means consequences, this is the impact. And what is the suggestion? When I am giving impact, I must also give suggestion. Why? Merely giving impact does not suffice any help to meet the requirement of the client. When I am finding fault, I am giving because of that what is my risk which is involved. When I am seeing the risk, I should also tell the ways to come out of the risk. So that is how it is called recommendation. What is a development recommendation? In this case, what is a recommendation? Develop a month and closing checklist. Second, provide a provision entries for each month should be reviewed by an independent person. The third one was a implement parking and posting concept in the system. By doing everything, then we can say that if maker checker is there, if month and checklist is there, then this problem would not have come. The entire provision also would have been provided correctly in the books. And what is it? When you come to editing, we have another three C's. One, concise, then complete, and clear. Normally, editing is done by a person who is senior to the who is writing the report. Suppose a manager is writing the report, an article clerk is writing the. I would prefer that a person who is senior, if he is a manager, maybe the senior manager or a director or a general manager, whatever it is, he can review the report. Only when he reviews the report, we can say it is concise, it is complete, and it is clear. Because he will come back by virtue of his experience and more knowledge on the accounts and audit. He will come back with additional queries which can be addressed before we submit to the client. That is the objective of the main objective of editing the report. What is the meaning of concise? Concise means identify key findings and priorities. How will you finalize? Suppose you do some 10 observations in a particular department, say HR and payroll. You should always put the point which has got most importance as the first point. Maybe it is involving financial impact, or it is a process oriented, or it is a policy oriented, or it is cost, or it is a fraud. So if you put it in that fashion, descending order of the financial impact, it will be very nice. Concise. That is why it is called concise. You should prioritize and identify the key findings and put it in that order. And second one is complete. Determine what type of information are needed to support each finding. Unclear. Consistently apply standards for coherent written communication. When we write any report, please remember that it should be very simple, clear, and it should be understandable. We are not here to prove anybody that we are doing our job or something like that by writing in a very fancy or high-tech English and all that. Observation to be very crisp and to the point, very simple. We are not over exaggerating or we are not under fact. Very straight. Uh, Bring all the facts on the table in a very simple manner. That is enough, without overstating and without undercutting. This is a very important slide. How will we, before we do the editing of the report, what are the steps we should follow to edit the report? Always take a printout and review the report in a hard copy. Why I am saying is nowadays may everybody is looking into the mobile phone or onto the laptop and to edit the report, which may be okay, but I would prefer it will not give you 100% satisfaction to write. Why I am saying is, see, reading a paper on the internet is different from reading the paper in the morning by having the physical copy. It makes a lot of difference. So like that, when you see the report by taking the printed hard copy of the printout and making the edit in the printed, you will do a much better job than editing it on the soft copy. This is my experience, at least in the last 10-15 years. Always, that is why I always prefer to take a printout and review the report on a hard copy. The second one is, don't begin to edit your report the moment you finish drafting. You allow some time. And secondly, editing, as I said earlier, the report can be edited by a person independent of the person who is writing the report. That is because the reason is that it's not that the same person can write the report and edit the report. The reason is that the everybody will look into the report in a different way. You may have written it in some angle, the other person may view the same thing in a different angle, and you are giving the other person to voice out so that if you are at the mistake, it can be corrected. That is why multiple people, I would prefer multiple involvement of multiple people so that everybody can give their own views, and finally we can take a call based on the discussion or brainstorming we have. Before we begin the editing, review the needs of your auditing. What exactly the client wants. So based on that only, we have to write the report. Some people they say, boss, don't give me 45-page report, 50-page report. You give me 45-page, 50-page report to the people who are working the job. But for me, you give me summary of the report in 2-page, 3-page because I have multiple things to do. I don't have the time to go through each and everything. This has been openly told to me by many clients. So what I do is, I will show you in the example. What I show, I prepare a detailed report for the people who are on the job, and for the senior people, VP, directors above, I prepare a condensed form in the form of say about 2-page or 3-page, bringing out only the critical points in the form of a summary and then give. When I give the critical points, my only focus point is it should be a financial impact, it should be a fraud, or it should be an increase in revenue, or it should be cutting the cost. Other than that, for me, are secondary. I don't even bring it to the attention of senior people. The fourth point is reconcile the objectives listed in the report to the findings included to ensure readers' expectations are completely met. Read through the entire report at normal reading so that to evaluate the flow and mark all discrepancies, but do not revise until you finish. Don't be in hurry to revise it. Just go through the report from first page to last page. Then you will understand what it contains. Then apply your brain, think for some time. Then you start editing one by one. By doing so, if there is any repetition also, you can delete it. It will give the way for that also. And secondly, keep versions. This is a very important point. You never know when you need to refer to an old version. See, why you need to keep reversion is, suppose two people or three people, suppose the report is done by a manager, the senior manager revises the report. So he makes some correction. After that, it goes to the director. He will make some corrections. Then after that, finally it goes to the partner. Partner may view in his own angle and he will make, but at the end of the day, he is responsible for the audit because he is signing the balance sheet or he is signing the report. So he will come out with his own views. If you keep overwriting everything, you will not know what the changes have been made by the senior manager, what are the changes made by the director, what are the changes made by the partner. So to keep everything, because tomorrow we need to justify, because only when you keep versions, okay, the report is version O written by manager. When it goes to senior manager for editing, you can take it as a version 2. When it goes to the director for his concurrence, you can keep it version 3. And finally, when it is goes to the partner, you can keep it as a version 4. And finally, when he clears, you can keep it as a final report. When you put final, after that, there will not be any changes. That is a final. That report is ready to give to the client. By doing so, you will at any point of time, you will know what are the changes made at what are the stages and whom have made it. Everything can be understandable. And always when you are doing it in the computer form, always my suggestion is to put it in a, don't overwrite the report, always put it in a editable mode. In a word, you can do it in the editable mode so that you will know who is doing the which editing and where it is got edited. Finally, allow another cooling period and reread from the beginning to end. Once the review is completed, you can give some daytime, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours. Then you will be freshen up your mind. Then come back, give a final reading so that yes, all changes have been completed, all changes are correct. Then you can give it to your next higher authority in your organization, probably director or something like that. Finally, get a review done by the person who is senior to you if you can. When we write the report, we need to be very clear. I said earlier also, don't say more than what you can support. All the points should appear in the report only in a very simple manner to the extent supportings are available with you. The reason is that tomorrow, if anybody asks you on what basis you have written this point, then you should be in a position to show the documents which you have as a backup paper. Based on this only, we have done the report. Then you have sufficient evidence in your laptop to say that yes, because of this only we have written this point. So that is why I'm saying let it be very specific, not more and not less. Be concise. Say what you mean, neither more, neither less. And it should be very clear and a very understandable manner. And it can be interpreted very broadly. Be accurate. Don't generalize beyond the scope. We need not write anything beyond what is the scope has been given to us. Now I will give you one example. This is actually the case the first one has been the case which has been given to me by the audit firm when I was working in Indian hotels by some other audit firm. The audit review revealed that payroll was only being checked by HR and not independently checked by finance as a part of monthly payroll process in order to improve control efficiency. First of all, this is very lengthy and it is very not in an understandable manner. It is very not very simple to understand also. And third, it is confusing. Nobody, at least majority of the people even in the client place, will not be able to understand, including myself. This has been reported by an audit firm in some of the hotels where I was doing the part of the internal audit. Right? It has come to me, but now it took almost about 3 hours to find the person who has done this work by checking the audit firm and then catching hold of the partner and then care partner in turn after referring to his work paper he has to catch hold of the person who has done the audit. Finally he explained to me, then based on the explanation given to me after 3 hours or 4 hours I have rewritten the observation in the green color which you are seeing for the presentation to the audit committee. Very simple. We noted that payroll was not being independently checked by the finance department. It is very clear. You are able to understand, everybody is able to understand. That is why I say all our observations, let us be very simple and very straightforward and easy to understand. What is a paragraph readability? See, what makes a good paragraph? It must contain only one idea. It has clear, easy to read sentence, and it should be short, and it should have unity, coherence, and logical connections. Let us not combine two, three observations into a single observations. That is a very bad habit to do that. But unfortunately, even today, many people or at least I am seeing many reports where multiple issues, totally unrelated issues, are clubbed together and written in a single observation. See, by any standard, it is wrong. This is another example which has been written to me, which has been sent to me by one of the audit firm which has done the work. Based on this approved sheet, the compensation benefit department prepares a summary and forwards the same to the finance department at the time of bonus payout is due. However, the finance department does not independently verify the accuracy of the bonus summary received from the compensation benefits section with the summary Excel sheet approved by CEO, CFO, General Manager, Human Resources, and departmental heads. Individual departments prepare the bonus calculation sheets after agreeing with the respective employees and submit these sheets to HR department. The overall bonus payout for the year is formally approved on the Excel sheet by CEO, CFO, GMHR, and heads of departments. This is how an observation has been written and sent to me by some audit firm after the payroll audit and the finance audit. I could not understand anything. Then I have to go back to the audit firm and understand what exactly is the issue. So, based on my understanding, to make the point better presentable, I have redrafted the point again at my own. Individual departments prepares bonus calculation sheets after agreeing with the respective employees and submit the sheet to the HR department. This is what? This is the criteria in our 5 C's. The overall bonus payout for the year is formally approved on the Excel sheet by CEO, CFO, GM, and the department heads. Based on this approved sheet, the compensation benefits prepares a summary and forwards the same to finance department at the time the bonus payout is due. However, the finance department does not independently verify the accuracy of the bonus summary received from the compensation benefit section with the summary Excel sheet approved by CEO, CFO departments. See, this observation, if you notice it very carefully, it comes in a very chronological order. First of all, you always write what is the existing scenario. Then you write what is the issue. That like though I have written it. Because by doing so, everybody will understand better where the problem is and what the problem is. Internal report writing, effective writing hints. This is a very important slide. Use outlines to plan what you say and refer to it constantly and try to arrange your points in sequence and put the most important first. How do you classify? When you say most important, it should fall into either of the following conditions. One, it should have a high financial impact, or it should be a fraud, or it should be a policy issue, complete violation of policies and procedures, or it should be a cost reduction exercise. So these are all the basically four important. You have to put the first category, highly prioritize observations. And second, start where your readers are. Don't write to a level higher than your reader's knowledge of it, because nobody will understand if you say beyond that. Remember, our prime purpose is to explain something, not to prove that we are too smart than others. Attempts to impress the reader are actually self-defeating. Let us not prove that we are smart. Let us place all the facts on the table, saying that this is the observation, and we are not overstating and we are not undercutting. Third point is, it should be very simple. Don't use words or expressions or phrases known only to people with specific knowledge of interest. For example, Based on the results of statistical tests, it was discovered that error rate was 7.2% with a 95% confidence level. Nobody will understand it. That is why earlier I said, whenever any observation we are writing, we should say out of sample of 100, we have selected 25, and in the month of say April and May, and we found that out of 25, 10 are so many issues. So which means 10 by 25, what is the error rate? We can put in the percentage. So by doing so, we know we are giving the sample, we are giving the population, we are also giving the which month I have selected the sample, and we are also saying how many issues we had a problem and what is the problem percentage also. So everything is covered. Stick to the point. Refer to your outline and constantly ask the questions. Does it relate to point in outline? If not, I include it in audit report. If not, I am getting it. Even my suggestion will be, even if you have the slightest doubt, drop it, give the benefit of doubt to the client, and unless and until it is clarified, please don't put it in the report. In those cases, wherever there is a minute doubt or something like that, 200% clarity is required. You can go back to the client, you can see that same voucher or document again and again, satisfy yourself. If you still feel, you can drop it, you can drop it. If you still feel you have to put it in the report, you have to put it in the report. The reason I am saying is that once it is put it in the report, it is final, and it should be at least 200% correct. When I say 200% correct, you should be absolutely correct, and nobody should find fault with the report, because that report is a very, very, very essential not only for the year which you are doing the audit, but also, as I said earlier, it is a starting point for the future reference. Internal audit report writing, effective writing hints. That is another point is that it should be brief, and when you write, make it tighter, straighter, easy to understand and read. Present points in a logical order. When I say a logical order, it has no ground rule for that. It all depends upon the companies to company. I will tell you one example. When I was doing the audit work in some hotels in Mauritius, they wanted the audit to be done in such a way that the first report it should be HR, the second it should be with the operations, and the third it should be with the finance. But it is quite opposite to what we do in Taj. In Taj, we give first preference to the operations, front office, then food and beverages, then banquets, then the other things will come. Engineering, finance, fixed assets, HR, safety and security, and all that. The reason is that revenue is most important. So the revenue comes only from front office, and revenue comes only from my banquet, and revenue comes only from FMB. So I focus more on this and try to improve my process, trying to find fault where exactly the problems are. Is there any leakage, revenue leakage, or cost reduction can be affected? That is why we put it. But whereas in the company, in my view, both are correct. It all at the end of the day depends upon what the client wants. As an auditor, we should respect the client needs and see and give the report in the manner they want. There is nothing right and there is nothing wrong in that. It all depends upon individuals' perceptions. Avoid mysteries in writing the report. Hit the reader with the main point in the opening sentence of each paragraph itself. That is why I said, after you write a 40-page, write 50-page report, when you give the summary, I will show you that also, examples, various examples I will show you. Once you give the summary, then the people, particularly at the senior level, they will understand, yes, they know the problems, what exactly, and that is sufficient. The two-page report is sufficient for them to take corrective actions down the line. In written communications, the basic tools are words, sentences, and paragraph, and effective use of tools may make the difference whether message you intended to give was the one which is it. Both the auditor and the auditee must understand the observation on similar lines. You cannot allow if you cannot if you are right, which means when we are writing something, whatever we are trying to convey, the same thing the client should understand. And what is the checklist? First point is use bullet and be consistent with the format throughout the document. See, why I am saying this is that many times they within the report itself there are so many where the different bullets are being used and different font is size is used and different so many things. Somebody uses Arial, somebody uses Garamond, somebody is using Calibri, something. So the client may not like it. So at the end of the day, the appearance of the report is most important. That is why I say when you are it all depends. Again, there is nothing wrong, right in that. If somebody is comfortable with the Garamond, use Garamond. I always use Calibri and font 12 in all my reports. That is my style of working. So there is nothing wrong and nothing right in it. So I like Calibri and I like the for font size 12, and for heading for presentations it will be 28 in PPT. Fix it. So be consistent with the use of font type and size. The size and font should be very consistent throughout the report. And always do the spell check whether everything is correct or wrong. And use the word draft as the watermark whenever we write first time when we are sending it to the client. Text and line spacing to be consistent. Somewhere it is single, somewhere it is multiple, somewhere it is 1.5 line space, and all that can be avoided. Alignment of heading and subheadings. And be consistent with the cap letters and the small letters. Wherever you are supposed to use capital letters, you please use capital letters. Be consistent with the words, use of words, department, functions, and business units. Why I'm saying is that the same finance head can be classified as head finance in some company, or vice president in another company, or CFO in another company, or it may be in another company financial controller. At the end of the day, position remains the same. Each are the top slot in the finance, but the designations vary. So we should depending upon the client we audit, you need to address the person according to the prevailing rules of the company. When a company is having only financial control, you cannot say vice president finance or you cannot say head finance. He may not like it. Though you are right, but he may not like it. So all these things, whatever we discuss in this slide, it all will give you an impression of the good impression which the client carry on the audit. That is more important. And the last point is that make sure all numbers have correspond currency. If you are giving the report in full Indian currency, fine. In dollars also, you put dollar. Somebody they give in millions, somebody may give in crores, somebody may give in lakhs, somebody may give in thousands. But at the end of the day, what happens is many people they fail to put at the top of the table rupees in thousands or millions. They don't do it, or they do it partially in some pages, in other pages it gets omitted. So these are all giving unnecessary room for the people to talk. What is the report writing typical internal audit report layout? Whenever we give the report, we expect we my suggestion is to follow this slide in a better presentable format to the client. First, it should have a cover page. Second, it should have table of contents. And third, what is the objective? And fourth, background information. And what is the scope? And then what is the observations and our conclusions? And then what is a summary? And then what is the detailed results and annexes or exhibits? Everything should contain in a single report. Now, this I will show you in a different example. Now, this is very important. Report writing do's and don'ts. When we write the report, we are expected to follow some rules. What are the rules? The report, first of all, it should be structured, and second, it should be very simple language and be specific to the point. Different points to be stated separately. It cannot be messed up in a single observation. And identify the root cause of the problem. Give value based impact. High value should give the first in point, or financial impact. Give issue based impact, maybe control lapse or something, and give adequate instances with the population and covering. See, why I am saying is that in a company of having a 500 crore turnover, you may come across saying that in 1000 rupees or 2000 rupees, some problem on that. I would prefer to drop that observation because 2000 rupees on a 500 crore turnover is just nothing. At the end of the day, we should also keep in mind that yes, we are doing the auditors and we are entitled to find the fault. But at the same time, one-off cases, we should be dropping it. If it is the 2000 rupees is a repetitive or it is happening continuously, you can put it as a point. But if it is a one-off case or something, we can drop it. Because see, everybody is not perfect. Sometimes we have to bend, sometimes we have to give benefit of doubt to the client. Maybe it is a regular or genuine slippage from the client. So one-off cases can be eliminated by giving chance to the customer. Yes, he might have been missed out by the client and it is not worth reporting. You can ask me one question. No, this 2000 rupees I have done, I have come across based on my sample size of 20 or 30. Probably if I select more samples, I would get more number of cases. In that case, yes, you are right in asking that. But unless and until we prove, we cannot assume that yes, we might get something and report it. You are entitled to take additional samples. Nobody is stopping you from doing that. You take additional samples, and if you find actually the problems are coming up, you can put it. If you don't want to take the sample, don't make any open statement that if I take additional samples, I might get more number of cases. That is why I am reporting. It is not the correct way of viewing the things. It is not the correct way of reporting also. All annexes have values and totals. And figures given in the points should tie up with that in the annexion. This is a perennial problem. The observation will carry some number, annexes will have some number. There is no interlink between the observation and the annexure. So it becomes very problematic for many. I have seen in many reports saying that there is no correlation between the points and the annexure. Please try to avoid that, and whatever the annexure you are putting in, please put the hyperlink to the annexure, and then automatically when you click it, it will go to the annexure. It is a easy way and correct way of doing it. Annexure reference in the report should match with the actual annexure number. All annexures have to be relevant and comprehensive and information relating to the point. Issue to be segregated. Don't mix up the multiple issues in the same place. Each point will talk only of that particular area. The right words should be used in the points. There is no maybe, like that, might be, such as, several cases. Please don't do that. Be precise and specific. Terms used by the auditor should be used in the points. That is why I said, don't say several cases, don't say like, don't say many cases. Let us talk about only actual numbers. Important points in annexures should be given as instances in the main point itself. Suppose you have got only say 4 or 5 cases, you can give it in the main body of the report. There is no need to give a separate annexure for if the number of items is too small, say 3 or 4 or 5. It does not make any sense. Every point should have adequate supporting papers with relevant backup documents. This is very, very, very clear for multiple reasons. The reason is that nowadays we are all doing system based audit. When you work on the Excel, when you download the report, it will contain several thousands of line items. And the entire, suppose the report download, it has say about 45,000 line items. You may come across a problems in 500 cases, and it is not possible to give the entire 500 cases in the form of an annexure. It doesn't make any sense. So what my suggestion is, the entire 500 cases where we have a problem, it can be retained as a work paper, a backup paper for us, and for the annexure purpose you give only one page. Each point ideally should have annexure only restricted to one page consisting of 20 to 25 line items. How to select the 20 to 25 line items in the 500 case? There is a way of doing. All the 500 cases where you have a problem, you put it in the descending order of the amount and take the top 20 and put it. That will cover minimum. When you, in any observation, I'm comfortably, I can say that all the numbers you put it in the descending order, the top 20 items definitely will take care of 70 to 80% of the total in that particular 500. In our case, suppose out of 500, if I put it in the descending order, for the top 20 or 15 items, in terms of the total, if you put it and compare with the total, it will definitely come to 70 to 80%. That is sufficient. 70 to 80% is sufficient for our thing to justify our point. And the third one is, what are the do's and other things? See, similarly, what are the other things also? There is that when I say do's and other things, when I say do's, don'ts also will be there. One of cases, like I said earlier, on a case of say 2000 rupees on a 500 crore company, if you are having only one case, just close your eyes and drop the point. It is not worth reporting at all. And second, repetitive language should be avoided. The third one must be don't mix up different points in the same point. Lengthy annexes to be avoided. Maximum one sheet is enough for per observation. And contradictions to be avoided. Same point contradicted in another point. What is happening is the same point is appearing in a multiple places in a different version, which is wrong. One point is do it in the one place itself. That is sufficient. This is how my slide is over. Now I will take you through my examples, which you'll understand better. See, as I said earlier, the report should have first cover page. Okay. And what is the cover page? On the top left corner, you write what is the name of the company you are auditing and what is the internal report for the period. It can be April to June or it can be January to December, whatever it is a period, you write it there. And what is the name of the company? You write it in the first line. The second line unit is, suppose there are multiple units or multiple places for the same company, you can put the particular place which you are doing the audit. Suppose a company is having places in Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, and Madras. If you are doing the audit of probably Chennai unit, so you can put unit Chennai and internal audit for the year also, maybe 24, 25 or 25, 26 or April 25 to March 26. Like that, you can be very specific. And the report will always contain minimum section A, B, C, D, E. What is A? A is the executive summary. And what is the sign of second page is the sign off page. And third one is the detailed observations. And the section D will be probably the annexes. And the first, what is the audit date? When I say audit date, from when you are doing the audit for say for the month of April 24 to March 25, now probably say you are commencing the audit in 1st June and closing it on 15th July. You write audit dates as 1st June 25 to 31st July 25 or 15th July 35, 1.5 months. And what is the audit period? So April 24 to March 25. And who is the audit firm? It is a X and XY company limited, your firm, maybe Deloitte or KPMG, whatever it is. And who is the partner in charge of signing this report? That also can be put. And who is the audit team? How many people are doing the field work? And how many people are involved in the finalization? All the names you can put it there. And what is the total mandates? See, how will you do the mandates? You can always put it in the Excel file, one Excel file saying that you can put it for one Excel file for one person. Say, for example, you can put the date 1st June, 2nd June, 3rd June up to 15th July. And second column will be hours worked and for the day and hours worked for the cumulative like that. So time in and time out. Suppose for 1st June, I'm coming at 10 o'clock and going at 8 o'clock. So 10 time in 10 a.m., time out 8 p.m. So number of hours for the day will be 10 to 8. Probably 10 to 8 is 10 hours. Probably you can take 1 hour for lunch. You can minus it and 9 hours. So next day also 9 hours, then like that. This is hours for the day work and cumulate hours to date will be first day it will be 9, second day it will be 9 plus 9, third time it will be 9 plus 9 plus 9 till date will come. So like that one person, each person can maintain his own time sheet and at the end of the day you can collect all the time sheet from all the people and put the total number of man days and the total of number of man hours also you can put. The reason by putting it is that at any point of time it will be the guiding factor to understand how many hours you have spent on this assignment. That is relevant for two things. One, you know, yes, I have spent 2 months, and next time when I am taking this assignment, I should be prepared that I need people, 4 people for 1.5 months audit. That will help you to plan your work accordingly. Number one, that will also help you to quote your fees to the client in a proper manner so that you are not out of pocket, you are not incurring any loss. That is the idea. And report discussed and finalized now. Probably you will you will do the audit from 1st June to 15th July. After that, 3 days you write the report, then 2 days for editing, and finally, so after completing the 15th, probably you can submit the draft report on 22nd and final report on 23rd of July. Total number of pages. So 45 pages, 60 pages. At the bottom, you can say your name of the company, and on the right side, you can put the page number. The second sheet will be the sign off sheet that I said. Whenever you do the audit, the sign off sheet should be part of the audit report. The first top left will be the partner signature will be there, and the partner name will be there, and the signature will be there. And the second, see, normally the report will be signed by 3 people. One one person, that is a partner from the audit firm who is doing the audit, and the second level will be for 2 people from the client place, one the head of the finance and the head of the operations. So head of the finance, he may be a financial controller, or he may be a vice president, or he may be a president, or he may be a director, whatever it is. So he will sign. And the head of the operation, again, he may be a general manager of the hotel, or probably the VP or executive vice president, whichever he is called. So 2 persons, one head of finance and head of the office. 2 people will sign the report generally. And the third one will be what are the priority. So always classify the report into three stages. Priority one, which is most important; priority two, which is reasonably important; priority three, which is less important. It is like high risk, medium risk, and low risk. So you prioritize your observations in the form of an executive summary like this. And the third one will be high risk, medium risk, and low risk. Whether it is a people issue or a process issue or a technology issue or a policy issue. High risk, medium risk, low risk, which is more important. Normally, high risk is classified as red and medium is classified as orange or yellow, and the low risk is normally classified as green. I use only three level of risk, high, medium, but some people they use four levels. One high, which is red, medium, probably which is yellow, and the third one they give are moderate. They call it as orange color, and again low, it is a green color. Instead of three, some people use four, but three is generally sufficient. I don't see major difference between the medium risk and the moderate risk. It can be moderate can be clubbed or treated as a medium risk also. What is a value driven? What is a efficiency? And what is a effectiveness? And what is the risk mitigation? You have to give the definition. Whether how you are classifying it as high, how you are classifying it as a low, how you are classifying it as a medium risk. And this is how I write the report. What I do is normally I will say first area department. Suppose I am doing the audit of say finance, I will put it as a in the area I will put it as a finance and accounts. Then in the left hand column, I have given full page for writing the observation. Why I am giving full page for writing the observation is it should be in a very detailed form. Why it is a detailed form? I said earlier, whenever we write any observation, first we should talk about what is the criteria, what is the we are referring, if we are talking something, some observation about the process, then we should write what the process says. As per policy number so and so of this finance and department, this is the policy for this particular. Then once you write the policy, then people will understand, yes, this is the policy. Then below that, you write what is the observation. When we are writing the observation, we should be very clear: population, sample, sample month, and what is the issue and what is the issue percentage. So everything should be written. That is why I have given ample space to write the observation in very detailed form. And on the right side, you classify it whether it is a high risk or is a medium risk or a low risk, and shade the color accordingly. And what is the risk? And what is the when I say risk, it means it's an impact also. By writing this observation, what is my impact? And when I'm giving impact, I also should give you what is the recommendation also in the right side. Then after this, below that, auditee will give comments. Please remember that, please tell your client also that auditing comment should be not more than 2 lines or 3 lines. He say, yes, agreed, we shall be implementing it. That's it. It should be as crisp as possible, because if you allow the your client to write in a very detailed manner, there is a possibility that he is trying to contradict our observations, which should not be the case. If that is the case, then the observation should not find a place here. So this is the observation, and it has been given to the client as a draft form. Then the management has given the command. Based on that only, the final report is prepared in the PPT. Then there is no question of disconnect arising it at all. All that it should say is that, yes, it is a point well noted. We will try to minimize the case. We will try to eliminate the case. This is the implementation date. Only 2 or 3 lines, not more than that. And below that, additional information we can give. What is the population period? Say, which month you are selected, April and May. And what is the population size? Maybe 5,000 numbers or 5,000 vouchers or 45 agreements or 45 contracts, whatever it is. And what is the sample? Probably out of 45 samples, you would have taken 10, or probably out of 5,000 documents, you would have taken 100, whatever it is. Then what is a sample value of the 10 contracts you have seen? What is it? Or if they have seen, say, 100 vouchers, what is the total value of the sample which you have seen? And what is a policy, whether it is a policy issue or whether it's a people issue, whether it is a process oriented or technology oriented. So previous year point, yeah, then value driven, whether it is a efficiency, you are talking about the efficiency improvement, or it is talking about the for effectiveness, or we are talking about the risk mitigation. So you can tick it appropriate column. And most importantly, why I have put it in the red is whether it is a previous year observation or current year observation. If it is a previous observation which is still appearing as a current year observation, remember that it is a very, very, very risky, and action will be taken definitely by 90 to 95% of the clients. Now I will come to the management summary. See, earlier I said the report can be 45 to 50 pages. Nobody will understand. So we have to give a summary in the form of, say, 1 page or 2 page covering only the critical information. How do you rate it as a critical information? Whether it can be risk category based on the risk category, or whether it can be based on the financial leakage, or whether it can be based on cost reduction or fraud or people issue, like that. So based on that, you focus not more than 5 points or 10 points. That is enough. I call it as a management summary. Here I put it, I have split this into two parts vertically. On the left hand side, I put my observations, and what is the right side, I will put, because of this observation, what is the impact and what is the way forward, that is the suggestions, and what is the audit comment here. So this is pertaining to the hotel where I am talking about the rate codes. First paragraph, I have written what exactly this is about the rate code. And first paragraph, I am talking about the policy. As per the company policy, the T7, T8 rate codes, this is what it has been written. That is what I have, the entire policy I have shortened into 2 lines or 3 lines. Then the subsequent points I am covering about, based on that, the deviation I have seen. This is the policy which they are expected to follow, but in our sample, I have seen 19 cases out of 50 cases, it is not there. For the audit committee, we don't have to give population, we don't have to give sample month, we don't have to give anything. Only the numbers issue and now see. That is enough, because audit committee is not interested beyond that. So that is why I have not given any detail, that all the details will be given only to the detailed observation, not in the summary form. So that is why I have written here. And by giving this information, I have an impact of risk of revenue loss of 2 lakhs. So that is why I have selected this point. I have given it as a, because of that inadequate internal control, I have not charged 2.25 lakhs, which is a loss for me. This is the impact. And what is the way forward? When I am seeing risk, I also supposed to give the client what is the path forward. What I have given, adherence to the terms and conditions of the booking. You should follow what has been written in the policy. That is a first recommendation. Second recommendation, the income auditor should do the night audit. He should have checked it properly, which was missing in this case. The third one is, wherever there is a division, If you are not following, okay, for some practical reasons you are not able to follow the policy. In that case, if you are not able to follow the policy, at least you take the approval from the head of the unit, a general manager or the director of sales, whichever is the particular department is there. At least give some justification and take his approval, take a note for record and keep it. That is enough. We are not saying that you should follow 100% of the policy. It is humanly not possible. Some places there will be deviation, so the deviation can be recorded. See the auditing comments. Agreed since implemented, which means they have agreed to the point and they have started implementing it also. When they implement, they'll say they will not give you, they have given you assurance that these problems will not be repeated. Even if it is repeated, I will prepare a note for record and it will be signed by the respective heads. This is what they are agreeing. Every management summary will have on the left hand side observation, on the right side impact, recommendation, auditing comment. And remember, when we write the observation, first talk about the policy. When you are referring to the policy or process note or procedures, see, write the process note or the policy by quoting the number very in a short form, two or not more than two or three lines. Then you write your observations. That is a correct, because people who are reading it, they will understand, because I am having a policy, I am not following this policy. In both are covered in the same place. Everywhere you see, there is a single line. Agreed, seems implemented. Agreed, seems implemented. That is the correct way of doing. Otherwise, you are giving scope for the auditing to write something in detail which might or which might not make the observation look contrary. This is the executive summary. First, we thought about cover page, then the sign off page, then I am coming to the executive summary. Executive summary will always be in a simple one liner. For each observation, it will be one liner. For example, you take this human resources. See, this is what? This is a hotel in a Mauritius, which I have done about 2-3 years back. And they wanted the report in this fashion only. They want first human resources and second front office, housekeeping, engineering, because they are, while giving the scope, they told me that the report must be in this order of the department only. That is why I am giving it in this order, because I don't have any choice. One liner. See, I will say human resources as 1, front office as 2, and housekeeping as 3. In each team, I will say 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. This will be my point number. So, delay ranging between 129 3 days notice in medical checkup in 4 out of 8 cases checked. That's it. So, when you go to the detail, you will see that yes, these are all readily available. Why I am seeing as a point is see, pre-employment, this is the one I have written. I am always writing, this is the observation which you should write. On the left hand page, at the top right, you put the company name and what is the date on which you are releasing the report and what is the audit observation and action plans. So I have divided the Word document into 6 columns. One, the serial number. The second column will be observation. The third column will be impact. The fourth column will be suggestion, and what is the action plan, and what is the person responsible for. Here you think the first case which I said earlier, saying that delay ranging 129 324 days were noticed in 4 out of 8 cases. So that is why here I am writing it here. The first case has, in 4 out of 8 cases, I noticed a delay of 129 324 days. I have classified this as an important point because this report has been written based on the process which has been given to me. HR, they are having say about 50 process, and I have written all my observations based on the process numbers. For example, in this process, they call it as SOP number HR 15. So, which means the earlier 14, there is no observation, all are intact. So, the first observation was deviation in process number 15. So, before writing the point, I have written in 2 lines what is the process saying. The process says, as per SOP, employees are required to go through pre-employment medical examination prior to signing employee agreement to prove they are physically fit for employment. This is what the process says. Then comes my observation. I have referred to the policy and started doing audit by taking some newly joined employees during my audit period. It says our verification of employee personal files revealed delays between 129 days and 320 days in getting the medical checkup in 4 out of 8 cases. Here you notice that I have not done any sample month, whether it is April or May. The reason being that I have taken the entire sample of all the people, fresh people who have joined. Unfortunately or fortunately, in that audit period, only 8 people have joined the organization. I have, since the sample was too small, and since the population was too small, I have taken the entire population as sample, and then I have noticed out of it, 4 were a problem. So, which means 50%. So, that is why, see, normally, if you take it as numbers, only 4, it it is not worth reporting. In this case, I have report because nowadays everywhere there is a problem of having terrorist problem. So by not doing medical, we can see terrorist problem. And number one, what has happened is you get sickly people in the organization. I have seen in one of the clients where many people who are not physically fit to work, they are working in the officing, and they have been recruited without doing any medical checkup, and without knowing, because of you are not doing the health checkup, you are not able to understand the health condition of the employee, and because his physical health is very poor, his work output is not up to the mark. Finally, what will happen? We have to terminate him, or probably we have to give some warning signal to show improvement. See, if a health is not permitting, how will you do a job properly in the office? Today, in modern world, the expectations of every employee is on the higher side. So these are all the areas where you need to see that whether he is physically fit, whether he is physically strong to the work, whether he is able to sit in the office for 8 to 10 hours, whether his health is okay. Then after that only he has to apply your brain. If the health itself is not good or proper, how can you expect the employee to apply his brain to do the deliverables? So that is why, considering that, I have put it as an important point. Are Baba, out of 8 employees you have recruited, 4 employees you have not done the pre-education. You don't even know whether the employees are first fit for job or not. That is why I classify it as a higher risk point. In the implication, you see, first point I have written non-compliance with the SOP. You are not complying with the SOP, that is why it is not there. And because of not doing this, the second risk is possibility of not screening candidates for risk factors that might limit the ability to perform the job effectively and safely. This is the risk. And what is the suggestion? Pre-employment medical check to be done prior to joining the employment as per the policy. This is a suggestion. And what is a comment? Yes, sir. We have agreed. We'll be strictly following it. And HR manager with immediate effect. Please remember, try to take in the person responsible name along with the target date. The reason being that I will tell you the reason also by for doing this. When you take the person responsible, you don't put the name of the person, you put the designation of the person. Because today the HR manager may be Swaminathan, tomorrow the HR person may be Arun, day after tomorrow it may be some X. So if you put the name, they'll say tomorrow, Arey Swaminathan is not there, he has resigned, the company has gone. So you can't do anything by because he is gone, we are not able to do it. So that kind of problem will come. So it always put HR manager. HR manager maybe today Swaminathan, tomorrow Arun, day after tomorrow maybe X. So that a position will take care of that. So that is why you have put HR manager. And what is the date? With immediate effect. Why we are putting timeline? Because when I am doing the audit for the next time, for the next year, I will say I will take some sample after 31st July. Why 31st July? Because this report was issued on the 31st July, which you can see at the top of this report. And then I will take some sample either in August or October or whatever it is and see whether pre-employment check has been done correctly or not, because they have already agreed that they will do this with immediate effect, which means from 1st August they will do it. That is why I am taking sample, say in the month of September or October, and doing whether these people are not. If they are not doing, then it will be treated as a prior year observations in my next report. And remember that all the prior year observations will be very seriously viewed by all the clients. The reason being, they could not do it in the last year. They have agreed to do in the next year, and again next year also they are not doing, which means it is a very serious issue. And 95% of the companies, they take action on the employees if they have these kind of observations. This is so the this is an example. And here I have not given any annexure, because if you go to the annexure, you will go to what I do is I will always put the hyperlink. See, my point number and the annexure number should be same always. Here it is 1.1, my annexure also 1.1. Okay, here it is 1.7, again 1.7. The reason being that some of the points, say 1.2 or 1.3, may not have annexes. So you don't have to worry about it. That is why I always correlate the point number and the annexure number. Both will be same. There is no, because by doing the continuous numbering, you might miss out something, or you might have make mistakes also. Report may be 1.2, annexure may be 1.3. After that, when you write the report and somebody is editing, some your seniors might delete some observation. When you delete the observation, then automatically, because of the auto numbering, the 1.3 will become 1.2, whereas the observation number will be something there different, and there in the annexure number will be something, report number will be difference, because you are deleting one point. So to avoid all these problems, always remember to put annexure number and report, I mean the report number same. Even if you delete one observation, the annexure will automatically go, because you are hyperlinking also, then automatically it will delete there also, so that there is no problems being faced. Number should be same. That is why I always remember this point. Put the annexure number same as report number and hyperlink it. When I do annexure, click it here, automatically it will go to the annexure number 1.1. I will show you 1.1 how it is written also. This is the 1.1. I have done 4 employees and the date of joining, date of number and number. Here you should see carefully, as I said earlier, all the annexes, the number should be in the descending order, top to bottom. See, first 324, then 182, then 138, 1. It is coming in the descending order. So always put it on the highest number at the top of the annexure. All my annexures will be of this number only. In the second annexure also, you see the delay 57, 53, 47. It comes in the descending order. So this is the executive summary. First point, 1.2 key important points are there in this order. It is only one liner. This is executive. So the senior people who are reading this, they are not going to read you a 45-page report. They will read only the summary, 2, 3 pages. Then they will understand, yes, what is the problem with the company is facing, and you will be able to call the particular team and then give instructions to correct the situation. As I said earlier, it will be 4 forms. Annexure A will be executive summary, which I have showed you. Previous year observation, which I will show you. Current year observation and annexures. These are all which you have already seen. Okay. Here I am doing the hotel for the first time. That is why my previous year observation is not there. So current year observation was there. It is a new hotel. That is why previous year observation was not there. So all the reports are all in 6 columns, and the numbering also will be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and the head of the department is there. Human resource means human resources will be there, and till such 1.1 one is human resource and 1.1, 1.7. When I go to second point, the second point will be 2 will be front office, then 2.1, 2.2, like that it will be there. And I will show you another point of the detailed observation also. Current year observation. This is also same thing. Impact, recommendation, management response. See, agreed. Going forward, delay would be reduced. Always remember, first your observation should be first see what is the policy is saying. Then start your observation. And third, your meaning. Then will be here you see, as I said earlier, when I am giving the observation, I have given bill print report. I have taken May and June as my sample, and it was in 94 cases out of 800 cases, which means I am having a problem 94 by 800. 11% of the problem I have taken, I am facing this issue. So in this observation, I have given the sample month, the sample count, and error count also, and error count in percentage also. Everything is covered here. And remember that impact should always be in line with the observation. Why I am saying is that I come across many report where report has no sense, has no meaning when I read with observation, because observation is something, report is something. Please try to avoid, don't make mess, let us not make mess of it, let us make it uniform. Observation, impact and recommendation should be in sync with each other. Let us remember that. And this is one more point. See, at the end of all your audit report is over, or after you do the audit, what you try to do is that you write what is the area and what is the audit coverage and what is the suggested sample you have taken. See, when suppose in the area, when I talk about, say, room revenue, these are all the areas I have seen. I have reviewed top 10 rate codes for the rate of updation and usage, then usage of adequate, then review of Excel. These are all the areas I have seen, and for each area, what I have seen as a sample also I have written. I have written, say, I have reviewed 10 rate codes, which means I have covered 50% of the business transactions. Maybe there are 20 rate codes. I have taken 10 rate codes. How I selected 10 rate codes? Because these 10 red codes are giving more revenue for me. My 60-70% of the revenue comes from these 10 revenue codes, and that is why I have taken the top 10 codes, and which is covering 50% of my business. Always remember that whenever you take the sample, you take the sample in such a way where the revenue flows from that area. That will cover you because that will enable you to do justice for the work. The second point, I have covered 65% of the transactions. And third, I have covered for 3 months. To be more precise, instead of writing 3 months, you can also say April, June, July. You can name the month also. That is also allowed instead of writing 2 months. All these things are written as only not to be given to the client. It is all maintained only for our file purpose. The reason is that next year, when you do the audit, it will help you. See, in audit, always remember one thing: the same person is not going to do the audit in the subsequent period also. Today the audit is done by ABC. The next time the audit may be done by XYA, XYB, or XYZ also. Totally different also. So every time you cannot teach the people before doing the audit. What you can do is, if the audit paper, if the audit work papers, if the audit file is proper, then you can ask your audit team to sit in the office to go through the work papers from the beginning to the end, then ask him to note down the notes. By doing so, he will get an idea on many things: what they have to do, how they have to do, and how the observation looks like. Then he can write notes, and then he can go to the client place and do the audit. I always tell people in my office also, wherever I work, create a work paper so that you don't have to spend time in explaining to the people who are going to do the audit next time. Your audit papers must be self-explanatory so that anybody can understand anything, because today everybody is running short of time and nobody has time to do their own job. Forget helping others. We don't have, because fortunately or unfortunately, we are living in that world today. So as long as the work papers are fine, work papers are correct, and work papers are proper, and should be filed in such a way that it is a guiding note for the people down the line to do the audit. That is why I am trying to create my work papers, more and work papers like cover page, like audit timesheet, then who are all doing the audit, how many man days, who has reviewed the work, what is the extent of area I have seen, what is the area I have sampled, what is the previous year observation, what is the current year observation, what is the scope, and how my area of selection, everything I am filing, so that next time whoever is doing the audit, they will definitely be able to do the audit better than what we are doing it now. Maybe, we do not know. See, at the end of the day, as long as I strongly believe that if the work papers are fine and correct and guiding factor, tomorrow the person who is doing the audit may be more intelligent, and he will do it in a better way also. We don't know. If he does better job, then it is beneficial for the firm, right? So that is why I always look it in that way. That is why the selection of sample, the selection, everything should be written in such a manner. And remember that the work papers also, as I said earlier, take the dump and put it in the file as a master sheet. And whenever you want to work, copy paste that sheet into another sheet and do your working. Don't disturb the master. Copy paste the second sheet and do your work. And after doing whatever what you do the work, you put it in the descending order of the coverage, and then you write the observation. And whenever you write the observation, then you put it in the Excel file. Yes, this is a point reported, and write report observation R1, R2, or front office 1, or finance and accounts point number 2 or 3. So that by doing this, you will know, yes, this point has been reported in the report. People will understand. And make a summary sheet. You take the A4 size paper and divide that A4 paper into 7 columns. The top left should be 3 rows. One, name of the client, second, unit, and third will be audit period. On the right side, it will be a circle. It will be page number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one. And the 7 columns will be the first 4 columns. Please use for your observations. Whatever you want to write your observations, use the first 4 columns. The column number 5 and 6 will be for the review by your seniors. He will, at the time of reviewing, he will write something and he will give his comments. And the last column, that is column number 7, will be only report or NR. Don't report, not to report, NTR. R means report, NTR means not to report, which means drop the point. When you are putting R, after you write the report, you put the point number there. Yes, finance and accounts 1, finance accounts 5, which means when you see this sheet, you will know, yes, boss has written this, the point has to be reported. Then I have reported, and this point is appearing as point number so and so, 2 or 3 in the report. So this is, yeah, what I will show you the summary form saying that after writing the report, if you see the work papers, if you go through the work vision, you will also understand nothing has been omitted to report. This is a cross-checking. That's it. So with this, I am concluding my presentation. I hope it will be of some help to everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is a very great presentation we had from you. Uh, so after this,
Any
we are
questions
moving
I
to.
can ask, people can ask, I will answer.
Yes, sir. Sure. Sorry, I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sometimes I've seen that like instead of issuing one report containing all the areas, such as suppose for example we are dividing the areas like finance, uh, operating like HR and all these different areas. So sometimes I've seen the four different reports are issued instead of one. So what will be your suggestion that should we issue four different reports or one single report containing all these?
See, you can consolidate all the report in one report, and for the convenience of the client, you can issue multiple reports for the multiple team. Like suppose, for example, yeah, you are doing an audit of, say, 5 areas: finance and accounts, operations, HR, payroll, and other things. You can have consolidated report into one place so that it is easy for everybody in our office to read as an auditor. And for the client page, you can copy paste into different Word documents or PowerPoint and give it to the people.
Okay.
So at the end of
Uh,
the day, it is a choice. See, if the see, sometimes what I am doing now, I am doing one hotel audit also. There, the client says, "Sir, you give me the report in department wise in 5 files or 6 files in 1 mail, so that I will give it to the respective department heads and take the unit comments."
Okay.
So what I do, I make a consolidated report for my records, and after
Mhm.
making the 45-page, 50-page report, I cut it into 10-page, 12-page, whatever it is, depending upon that particular. That is why I said number 1, number 2, number 3. I cut it 5 reports and give name
Mhm.
the report as finance, accounts, operations, whatever it is, and send it to him so that he will forward that mail to the respective unit heads for their comments.
Okay. Okay. Sir, other thing, you just told us that risk-based approach and impactful key insights should be kept at higher of the report. Like
Correct,
preference should be given to the first.
correct,
And as we know, like sometimes it feels that we know the financial impact more clearly rather than the impact of operations and processes.
correct.
So how should we determine
Financial
or
effect
is
is
there?
the best way of doing it. More than
Okay.
the see, that is why I said the order of priority. First, it should be the financial impact. The second one will be a policy oriented or the process oriented, and the third one will be the revenue area. If it is increase because of this, my revenue is lost by revenue is up. Because of this, my cost is going up. Also, we can put it. So first, top most important is the financial impact.
Financial.
Financial impact means increase in revenue or decrease in cost.
Okay. Okay.
That is the
Okay, sir.
ideal way.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, do we have any other? I don't think so. Any other questions are there? So
What is
we
the
will.
target audience size today?
So target audience is members only, those who are interested in internal audit report writing.
Okay, how many? Around 45, 50?
Uh, I guess Arun sir knows that.
Okay.
I don't have that number here.
Okay.
Arun sir, are there any questions apart from? Okay, so I guess the process to conclude the webinar. Sir, sincerely thank you for this insightful webinar.
Thank you.
As we come to close of this insightful webinar on internal audit report writing, it is my privilege to extend a sincere vote of thanks to all who made this session a resounding success. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, you, Sir C.A.S. Swaminathan, sir, for sharing his valuable expertise, practical wisdom, and inspiring perspectives. Your contributions have truly enriched our understanding and elevated the importance of clarity and impact in audit reporting. Last but not the least, I would like to thank C.A. Chandrasekhar Vasanchite, Chairman of the Internal Audit Standard Boards, and C.A. Ravi Kumar Patwa sir, Vice Chairman of Internal Audit Standard Boards. A special thank to the Internal Audit Standard Board of ICI for organizing and supporting this initiative and for their continued commitment to professional excellence. To all our participants, thank you for your active engagement through our thoughtful questions and presence. Your enthusiasm is what makes this session meaningful. Behind the scenes, I would like to acknowledge the technical team and organizers who ensured everything ran smoothly. Let's carry forward the insights we have gained today and apply them to strengthen our audit practices. Wishing you all a continued success in your professional journey. Thank you once again and have a great day ahead. I now declare this webinar has concluded. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.